Many instances of paranormal phenomena have been reported in this desolate place. Events that may reflect the area's tragic past. Whatever they are, whatever you call them, ghosts, spirits, shades, specters, apparitions, there is not a corner of the world they do not inhabit.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Other Dangerous Podcast, where we talk all things paranormal. I'm Ken James, and due to his grueling schedule during the holidays, my co-host Jason McKittrick will not be joining us tonight. He's got a lot of stuff going on there, a lot of orders to fill over at the Cryptocurium, so we wish him luck, and like they say, the show must go on. But if it can haunt, howl, or dwell in the dark, we want to talk about it. And tonight with me, I have a very special guest. You may know her as Beeb, hailing from Tacony, Philadelphia.
Oh
My beautiful wife, Brittany.
Hello.
Hello. What's going on? You excited?
Super
You
excited.
better be.
I am.
Yeah. So Britt, tell us a little about yourself. You're an artist. You
I guess I'm an artist. I mean,
Being humble,
I
okay.
like doing stuff with like paints and.
So she's an artist,
Drawing
and she's not talking about it. Like she
why
is one.
would I?
Because you're an artist.
If you say so.
I do say so. So anyway, Brittany is being bashful right now, but she's a very talented artist. She's working on busts and things as figurines, and a little Etsy shop called Midnight Cackle.
Kind of on a hiatus. Work's been a little crazy.
It happens. It definitely happens. But so before we move on to tonight's topic, which is going to be about us living at a house that we just moved from, and the experiences that she has had moving in there with me, and things she's seen from the beginning till us moving out, and all these kind of crazy little things that have happened to us and her. But before that, we're going to get into this week's jump scare. Alright, so this week's jump scare comes from Dave. My family traveled to the south of France to stay in a cottage owned by someone my dad worked with. The owners visited occasionally, but that summer it was free and we had 10 days booked in there. After a long 2 days on the road, we drove down a steep driveway towards a secluded mill cottage. The water wheel sat static alongside the stone house. There was deep cellar with stone stairs down under the wheel next to the house, and a small circle was that was placed there. We went into the house and chose rooms, but being set down in a small copse, the house was draft and cold from lack of use. We settled in and turned all the heating on, yet the house remained cold and felt damp. The first night, we had set a fire in the living room and listened to a couple audiobooks before my sister and I went to sleep. My parents stayed up, and a little longer went by, and then we went to bed. Around midnight, they woke up exactly at the same time, and in the doorway to their bedroom started opening slow. The door to their bedroom started opening slowly. At first, they thought it was my sister until they saw a large, dark silhouette of a man framed in the doorway, standing stock still, just looking in their direction as if appraising them. After a short period, the shape turned and started to move, as if satisfied, and then it disappeared. They looked at each other, but didn't speak, and both went back to sleep. The next morning, the house felt warm and dry, and the sunlight was back and came through the windows, as if something had lifted and accepted them. They spoke the next day, both agreed that although they were skeptics, it could not have been anything other than something supernatural in the doorway, and it decided their worth. So I kind of chose that one because of some things that we've experienced at the house on Walnut Hill Street.
Oh. Like the hallway?
Yeah, well, that's one of the things. We'll get into it. But first, let's. I want to know. So you've told me, but for people listening, so as a child, you experienced some stuff?
I did. I mean, my first experience that I remember, I was probably about 8 or 9. I was walking through Jackson McGee Cemetery.
Shout out to Jackson McGee Cemetery.
Shout out. I was going to meet with friends. I'm walking through, and I look over, and I see this gray shadow just, like, floating past behind, like, tombstones and stuff. Safe to say, I was pretty spooked. I basically booked it out of that cemetery.
Made a run for it?
I did.
Now, I also remember you saying at your house on Van Dyke that you would kind of see shadows as a kid, or was it your
that was the new house.
That was the new house, the current house. Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, what kind of things would you see?
We would all see. There was this black shadow, kind of resembled the figure of a man. He would come down the steps, get to that landing that's there, and then walk past the TV into the hallway, and then just disappear.
Just be gone.
Just be gone.
Any kind of like things moving around with that, or just to the shadow?
Just the shadow.
Now, did you ever have any like weird feelings? Did it scare you? Were you ever really scared?
No, I never. Well, there was one time actually. My parents, I don't remember where they were, but I was home alone. I went to go meet with my cousin. We went back to that house, and we walked in, and the refrigerator doors and the cabinets and everything were all opened. And I definitely didn't leave them open. And I believe this was after my dog had already passed. So obviously he didn't open the fridge, you know.
With all the cabinets.
Yeah, we were all the cabinets, yeah. Yeah, that was pretty freaky. We walked in, and she was like, "Why'd you leave the refrigerator doors open?" I said, "I didn't." And then we left.
And then you left?
Yeah, we waited until my parents got back in.
And then you, obviously, I know you were interested in this stuff. Like, so you would watch ghost shows and stuff as a kid, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Any of your favorites?
Well, obviously, Ghost Adventures.
Fuck yeah.
You know.
Fuck yeah.
That's the best.
You wanted us.
You got it.
Yeah, that's right. That's my girl. There are things in this world
that you will never understand.
There we go. Good. All right. So okay. So you had a little bit of a history with it, and you eventually ended up meeting me, and like I do with everyone, I kind of feel people out and start to like, hey, so you in the bedroom, blah blah blah. And we talk, and then we started dating. And I used to have so let me set up the house that I was living in, formerly owned by my grandparents. My father died there. My grandfather died there, and a lot of friends had seen stuff. I've seen stuff. Even our own Jason McKittrick, after training one day doing martial arts in the backyard, was getting ready to leave. Went upstairs to grab his keys, and the hallway leading to the back doorway, the door just whoom and slammed shut on him, and he was like, "All right, time to go. All right, I'm out of here." But so yeah, you moved in, and you didn't move in. We moved in, and things were happening, and my brother Chris would tell us, because I was still partying at the apartment at the time, and Chris would hear what he said sounded like, my brother Chris sounded like he heard, I guess, my grandma moaning in pain in the room that was my room, that was at one point my grandmother's. And it got so bad to the point where he would be like, "Grandma, please stop, I'm trying to sleep," and then it would stop. And so those were the fun things when we first moved in there. But eventually you met your knight in shining armor, this guy right here.
Yeah.
And what?
I was just going to say, I've heard your grandmother on the phone in that house.
Oh my God.
At the top of the steps.
We'll get into that. Okay, so all right, so you start dating me, and I have this bar in the basement where everyone always comes, and it's like a full bar, like not like just a little, like a full bar. And I would always be behind it. We had the TV and everything going, and all the friends would sit on the other side of it. So I was actively the bartender. And so you started. So what started happening when you started dating me that you would start to see?
Well, there was that big figure in the hallway that I told you. I said, you have a dancing man in your hallway, right?
Oh, God. Yeah, when you said that, you were like, that you have someone that dances in your hallway? And, I paused whatever game I was playing at the time and just, slowly turned my head and was like, what?
He was harmless until that one night.
Yeah, so go on.
He sitting at the bar stool. We were watching something. You were playing video games. Mm-hmm. and he just lunged at me, and I practically fell out of the bar stool. That was fun.
Yeah, and I remember seeing you like you went down, and I was like, "Are you all right?" And you were like, "No, no, something just lunged at me." Well, yeah, that hallway kind of was infamous for stuff like that, because like I would be coming in and like Boyd would be behind the bar, you know, he'd be playing like, "Do you welcome back? Do you welcome home?" And like I'd come in and I would just see the one figure I saw. It was so creepy. It was like I want to say like a white shadow, and it like I can't even like replicate the shape, and it like passed by, and I was like, "Oh, dude," because I was buzzed, and I was like, "Oh, I saw you doing." Boyd's like, "Dude, don't talk to it, dude." Like, why even?
Your Boyd impression.
Yeah, but he's like, "Dude, why even like, dude, don't stop bothering anyone, dude. So why would you even bother, dude? Like, why would you do that?" So like I'm like yelling at them, like, all right, I calm down, so we sit there. But yeah, so you know that was our dating period, and
well, there was another one
while we were dating.
Yeah,
Which
he was
one?
always up there at the end of the hallway with what I used to think was a cowboy hat.
Well, that's when you moved in. That was after you moved in.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm talking about in the beginning before you actually lived there with me, when you would just visit.
Yeah, it was mostly just the dancing man
in the hallway.
In the hallway,
and none of that, you know, dissuaded you from coming to live with me at that point.
Not at all. I told you I've dealt with the same thing basically.
Yeah, the right answer there was you're worth it. Okay, so
well, obviously
you failed there. But
sorry,
no,
I never
okay.
pace these things.
Yeah, I test her all the time. But so yeah, so then you ended up moving in, and so you were spending a lot more time there. And then, you know, we stayed in the bedroom upstairs before we ended up taking over the first floor. But yeah, so you would start to see things in the hallway.
Yeah, at the end of the hallway upstairs, not the dancing man's hallway.
Yeah, not downstairs dancing man hallway.
Yeah, not that hallway. There used to just be a figure of like a black shadow that had a hat on, and I used to think it was like a cowboy hat. But then I later learned about that shadow man. Yeah,
the infamous shadow man that a lot of people have seen.
Yeah, and I saw a picture that somebody had like drawn up of him, I guess like to depict what he looked like, and it was the same exact thing.
Yeah, so now there were times, you know, because our schedules would differ, and you would send me texts at times seeing things when we moved back downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, my brother took the upstairs, and me and Brittany ended up taking the downstairs. And I remember getting some phone calls while I was at work and you were at home about you seeing stuff and be like, "No, it was there. You need to come home."
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, tell us what you would see.
Well, which time?
Whatever ones you can remember.
Well, basically, I already described.
Well,
what
it was the same thing?
Yeah. He was always there. Only if, like, the lights were out, though. And the lights were always out up there in the hallway.
So, elaborate. It was always just a black figure? Do you ever see colors?
Never colors. No.
So, you would see it dancing. Did it ever dance again?
No, it wasn't. I don't think it was the same one.
Okay, so
they were shaped different.
That's why I'm saying, yeah, tell us about the shapes. What would you see?
Well, the one upstairs was lean. And he would just stand in the hallway, kind of like leaning up against the door. And I don't know, I always called him the shower guard because he would scare me.
Yeah, I remember one time you were going to the bathroom and you came like running back in, and you were like, "Something's in front of the girls' room," and like, and I went out and I didn't see anything, and I was like, "All right, this is getting kind of creepy."
Well, and like, you know that feeling that you get too, like it just takes over your body, like something's there. I don't know how to explain it, but
you are explaining it. Keep going.
I don't know if it's just like a terrifying feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But I need to take a shower, so
yeah,
you know.
You don't want to
Sorry,
stink.
guy. Yeah.
Well, and that's another question I wanted to ask you. So, like, was it always terrifying? Did you always have that terrifying feeling, or only on certain occasions?
Only in the upstairs hallway. I would only ever get it there. The dancing hallway guy never really bothered me.
Well, how about the one time you saw him walking past, and you were like, "Someone's here"?
Oh yeah. Well, because normally he didn't do that.
Well, expand upon it.
He kind of walked. You remember,
the
back door was like on the other side of the hallway. You couldn't see it from the hallway, obviously, but it kind of was like he was walking out the door.
So coming from
past the hallway.
coming from the downstairs to the basement where we lived, then it would walk past where the hallway was, where the bathroom and the closet was.
Right.
And then there was the back door, which would lead up to the stairs.
No, not that door.
Which door?
The back door leading outside.
That's what I'm saying. The one that would go upstairs, to outside, up the stairs.
Oh, okay.
So where were you when you saw it that time that you called me super panicked?
I was in the old bar room. I don't remember.
When
if it
we
was
turned
the bar
it into
or
the
not.
lounge?
Yeah, I think it was the lounge at the time.
Okay.
But yeah, I saw him like walk past the hallway towards the door. So I thought it was somebody in the house,
Yeah.
like trying to leave without me seeing them.
But that time, was it still a shadow, or did it look like a person?
Well, it was so quick, but like it was in the shape of a person.
Oh, okay.
But I quick like ran and there was nothing there. Ran to go see.
So your fight or flight response kicked in, and this time you decided to fight.
Of course.
Of course.
I mean, I thought somebody was in the house.
Yeah, and you were gonna go take on this
Where
intruder.
else was I going to go?
I don't know. Grab one of the guns.
That's where they were.
Nice. So, would you say that was your scariest moment living there? Like, what would you say was the scariest?
I think the scariest moment was when I was home alone and I heard your grandmother upstairs talking on the phone.
So yeah, how did that now play
because
that?
you've told me that she didn't like, girls.
That's true. Like she would always be like, "You don't need to settle down." That was her big thing with us. Was always like, "You have time. You don't need one girlfriend. Have a bunch of girlfriends."
Like, she's here to take me out.
Yeah, she wasn't. So all right, so play out the story for us. So like how? So you were what? You were downstairs and you were going upstairs to do what?
No, I was downstairs. I was minding my own business. I was like reading a book or something. I don't know. And I knew nobody was home at all. And I just hear a woman at the top of the steps, like where the doorway was, just talking. And then I texted you about it, and you were like, the phone used to be up at the top of the steps.
Yeah, right there in the kitchen. So yeah, there was like it's like a two stairways that would go up. It was almost like a stairway hallway, and at the top of the door, the kitchen was right there, and that's where they used to keep the phone on the wall. It was like an old school style, like kind of like almost rotary phone, and that's where she would hang out and talk on the phone. Do you remember anything she was kind of saying, or how the voice sounded?
Well, I'm no good at like impersonating voices.
Well, I'm saying convey an emotion.
Oh, well, she just sounded like she was talking to somebody. She wasn't like angry or
just casually.
Yeah, just chatting it up.
Yeah, all right, just chatting it up. She liked to do that, and she would kick us out when she was done with our visits. But so that would be the scariest time. Like that was the.
Well, it was just freaky because it was like an actual voice,
Yeah, like manifested.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that goes into what Chris would hear, but his was way more, I guess terrifying as opposed to just someone talking on the phone and no one being home. So did you go up there to see if anyone was there?
No.
You were just like, fuck that?
Yeah, I just stayed downstairs and continued reading my book.
Okay.
Or whatever I was doing.
Sculpting.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of stuff. Like one night we were in that back room where the shower guard would hang, and it was like we were waiting for my buddy Cody and Seda and Jovi to come back from after the bar. They would always come hang out, and me and Boyd are sitting in his room with the door shut. If I'm going to describe it, so this is the same door that Jay had seen slam shut previously. Boyd was occupying that room at the time. He was our roommate. And we're sitting there. We're just waiting for them. And that door, we hear on that door, a knock on that door. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm sitting right next to it. So I'm sitting down on the floor. So I open it and I open the door and no one's there. And then all of a sudden, they all come walking in the front door down the hallway. And we were like, what the fuck was that? Like, was this someone letting us know that people are here? Was it like my grandma? I'm like, get these people, like out of here or whatever. But, that was really, really a creepy experience. But, yeah, I don't know. In that upstairs hallway, a lot of times you would always feel like someone was watching you. I would get that a lot.
Yeah.
And, it kind of dissipated over getting used to it over all the years. But it was chilling. It got really chilling at times, and yeah, a lot of friends said they would see stuff and hear stuff, and yeah, one night we were after recording, and like it was me, Jesse, and Bridget, and I was like grabbing blankets for everyone to crash on the couches downstairs that used to be down there, and she was like falling asleep at the table, and so was Jesse, and like I came in and she was like, your grandpa just like walked in the room, and I was like, what? She's like, yeah, She's like, I was falling asleep here, and like I saw a flannel, and around those times I was wearing one of my grandpa's old flannels, and she's like, he walked in, just looked, made sure everyone was okay, and walked out. She's like, I looked up at first because I thought it was you because of the flannel, and then I realized the build was different, the person was different, and then, she was at, she met him before, and she was like, it was your grandpa who walked in here.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, here's your blanket, go crash on the couch. This is fucking weird. I gotta go upstairs now. Glad that he was here, but some really weird stuff that did happen there, and we're gonna go into the James haunting, which is what I'm gonna be calling it. But yeah, no, there was some stuff, some weird stuff. So
very strange.
So in your conclusion of like how you only got terrifying feelings, like you said, upstairs, and not ones downstairs, like do you have any kind of ideas about what they could have been or what you thought it was?
What do you mean, like relatives of yours?
Or could have been something demonic, dark, residual. Would it be?
Well, I mean,
you watch Ghost Adventures, you know the terminology,
right? I guess that feeling I would get, when I would just go and try and take a simple shower, and have to
as opposed to a complicated shower.
yeah. I think that may have been, well, other than your grandmother scaring me, but yeah, that feeling that I would get was just like a terrifying feeling.
And now, do you think that being or entity, whatever it was, imposed that?
I don't want to say it's like a demon or anything. I feel like if it was, they would have put in more effort to.
Well, I'm saying, did that separate? I'm saying, so the things from downstairs to upstairs, could the energies in the areas have changed what it could have been? Like, do you think they were the same being, the same?
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay, so you would say, would you say the ones downstairs that you would see just walking past, that I've seen plenty of times, would Are
you saying the one that walked past wasn't the one that I normally
I'm asking
encountered in the hallway?
if you think the hallway, the dancing hallway man, and the one that would pass by was, a completely different thing than the one that was in the hallway upstairs with the.
I believe it was a different thing because it didn't have a hat. If that
okay, well, that makes sense.
I mean, unless he took it off and hung
took
it
off
up.
its ghost hat and just hung it up here.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so the one downstairs you said never really scared you, unless you had to call me when I was at work and I needed to be home. But
or he wanted to lunge at me and knock me out of my seat.
Yeah, well, so that's another thing I'm asking. It's like, so the one that was lunging at you, which was usually not doing anything like that, do you think it was just something like replaying itself? Like it was just some energy locked in there?
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. Would you think that would be more of a reasonable answer?
I don't know. I mean, it was very unusual because he never, did anything like that before or even after he did it.
Yeah, so that one time that it just lunged, it was just like a warning.
Yeah.
Like get away from that guy.
Well, I told myself he was messing with me.
Okay. So now the
might be ridiculous.
No, you're talking to me on a paranormal podcast. We get ridiculous here, but did the entity upstairs ever move?
Never.
Or was it always just standing and staring?
It was always just standing.
Okay.
Kind of like leaning on the doorway.
Yeah, we
I had a hard time looking at him too.
So because it was imposing. It was like actually like something really scary, and you said like it was guarding the hall. It felt like.
Yeah.
Because where the other was just passing through, just like on my way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I don't believe it was the same.
Yeah. Well, that's what's interesting to me. It's like, okay, could this be a case of like heavy energy one spot and another just like, oh, I'm just doing my thing,
just passing through?
Because like we had a pool table down there for a while, and like we saw a lot of things like, and this pool table was expertly leveled. I mean, there was 2 different ones, and both were, thousands of dollars. And they came out, they leveled it perfectly, they put the things under it, and they were heavy. They have the first one was 2 huge slates settled down, it wasn't moving, and like we'd be shooting pool, so like you could shake the table and things wouldn't move. These were expertly leveled, and you'd be lining up for a shot, and you'd be thinking like I gotta sink this, and literally the ball would like one of the balls would move to give you an easier shot.
Whoa!
But not just like oh it moved, but no, it was like bloop, 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 like perfect. You're like, oh my god, I'm gonna sink this now. Look, and that happened to me twice, and I know it happened to Chris at least once, and it was just like, what the fuck, like I guess something's here that's happy we're it's being lived in, and this is when I was in like my early to mid 20s, that when we were having all these parties and doing all this kind of stuff. But
and if the table was uneven, or if like you leaned on the table and it did that, it would have done it way more often.
When all the balls would move, not just one.
Right. And for a perfect shot too.
Lined it up, because we started after a while. We put up that picture that's now hanging. It's my great grandfather Ducky Banford.
I love that you're pointing at it.
Well, I'm pointing for you, but we made like a little thing. We would always put a shot of scotch or whiskey there, and we light a candle around it just to like pay homage to the family and stuff. Like, oh, we're keeping the traditions going, and that's when a lot of it started too, which was kind of weird. It was like that's when it was like, oh, all right, maybe some
summoned them,
or no, maybe someone's just helping out. How you guys are playing pool? It's like, oh, I love this game. Let me just beep.
Yeah,
give you that little easy shot there.
Let me help you cheat.
Yeah, exactly. No one's gonna hate on that. But so me and you also we've had a couple experiences that weren't at the house. When we went to Ship Bottom.
Oh yeah.
For the wedding, and we were at a bed and breakfast that guy I used to work with. I went to his wedding. He invited me, and I was like, all right. And me and Brittany were what, like 8 months in at that point.
If that.
Yeah, if that, and.
No, we weren't even. We were like 3 months.
Yeah, it was early on. So it was like our first kind of like trip together. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So one time he's like, I know you're in a ghost. He's like, so I had them put you in the room that is apparently haunted. And he was like, yeah, there's a door for like, it was like the server's entrance. So like, I guess people that worked there was a side entrance because they didn't want them mingling.
Which was really nice for us.
Yeah, it was nice for us to go out and smoke and. But so they put us up in there, and I remember I was shaving my head, and you were like napping.
Yeah, I was being sleepy McSleeperstein.
Like what you always are. Yeah, but so what happened? What?
So, what time would you say it was? Was it like 3 a.m.?
It was getting there.
Okay. So I took a nap, because that's what I do. I like to take naps. That's something about me that we didn't mention. And I woke up, and at the foot of the bed was a man just staring at me, but he looked shocked. Like he was shocked that I was staring at him, as opposed to me being shocked that there was a man at the foot of the bed.
You're like, oh, you saw me?
Yeah. And I looked at Ken, and Ken was like, whoa, what? Like.
Well, I think you made a noise because I was in the bathroom to the side.
No, you were on your laptop.
Oh, it was after I came out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you were like on the floor playing a video game on it or something.
Okay.
And you were like, whoa, what? Like you said you looked like you just saw a ghost. And I was like, I did.
I did, you asshole.
But yeah, he looked shocked, like surprised that I was staring at him. He had a trench coat, some lanyard that I wish that like I would have read what was on the lanyard, glasses, kind of like a buzz cut.
So what kind of a trench coat? Like
yeah, like Castiel's.
Okay, so like a tan John Constantine style trench coat. And was the rest of him like dressy?
Well, he was at the foot of the bed, so I couldn't see like the bottom half of him.
Okay. And you said he had glasses on?
But he did have a tie, so I imagine he probably had dress pants on too. Maybe jeans. I mean, some people wear ties with jeans. right?
Yeah, some people.
Yeah.
They're called assholes.
Yeah.
Or
They do look kind of douchey.
or science teachers. A lot of them do that. But so
Sorry, science teachers.
stop the shade. Can't help it. But so he was just like, it almost was like, what? He was like studying you while you were sleeping.
I don't know. I woke up and he was there at the foot of the bed.
Like, oh.
Yeah. And like, you know, people say, you know, when you first open your eyes, your brain is still like dreaming. But I don't think that was the case.
Well,
I
were
don't
you
know.
dreaming about trench coat lanyard wearing men?
Right. When would I do that?
I don't know.
I never-
I don't know. I don't know what's going on in your dreams. Fucking trench coat men.
Not my thing.
So maybe he was just like an interdimensional being passing through.
Right.
I don't know what Peter James might say about something like this.
I'm coming through.
Yeah. Yeah, probably that. Probably that. So yeah. So like, I'm sure when this is done, you're gonna be able to, you know, there's gonna be a whirlwind of different things flooding back into your head that you might have forgotten.
Oh, definitely.
It's hard being put on the spot, I know.
It sure is.
But man, since we moved out and moved into our new space here,
Yes.
we've already had 3 in less than 2 months.
Do you think we've been followed?
See, I don't know.
Do you
I don't
believe that can happen?
Oh, absolutely. I believe, because I had that one experience with recently with the psychic thing, and
Right.
but you know, moving in here, and then during the one episode of the podcast, one of your paintings off the wall, and you weren't here for that. You were in the bedroom, but yeah, that was very strange. But you know, we're right by what we were talking about, the Pyberry Mental Institution, and then the weird enough another box of your art.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're, you know, tell so set the story there. What happened there?
Well, we were out in the living room, or
Mm-hmm.
was it living room? Okay. I mean, it's all the same, really.
Yeah,
but
small. She's saying it's small, but yes, we were in the living room in our respective seating areas.
Yes. And we just hear a crash in the bedroom. And it turns out I have a box of all my little sculptures. And it apparently just flew off of the stack of records that they were sitting on, which is odd because the records weren't touched. You know?
Well, yeah, it was a box, and then records in a box, and then that box was on top of the records box with some records sitting there.
Yeah, and the window wasn't open.
Yeah, nothing was open.
And they just fell off.
Yeah, so I rushed in, and I was like, your fucking sculptures are just on the floor here.
Yeah.
And you were just like, why is it messing with my art?
That's exactly what I sound
And
like.
yeah, it is. That's what you say.
It's good.
Yeah, and then, what was it, 2 weeks ago?
The knock on the door?
Was it not open?
Well, yeah, but that was like 2 nights ago.
It wasn't 2 nights ago.
Oh, my perception of time's a
Yeah,
little...
okay, so last week we'll say Jesus.
Okay.
Her
But
perception of time.
Yeah. We hear like a thud on the door, and then the bedroom door just opened. And Ken tried to recreate the whole
Yeah,
thing.
the sound, everything, like, and it wasn't just like, it just was like, it was like, like everything, the knob turned and opened inward, so I jump up, like, yo, someone's in the bedroom, and I you know, fling the door fully open, because it wasn't fully open, and lo and behold, nothing, windows closed, not a draft, and like, so I go into debunk mode, and start, you know, jiggling the door. How can we do this? Blah, blah, blah. So I guess my best assumption, and the best way I could recreate that thump sound, was thumping on the door, the side that opens it, so from outside in, and like putting my shoulder into it while I turned the knob to get that sound to recreate. Because like you heard the knob turn and everything, and I had just closed it because our dogs are assholes and always want to go in the bedroom and mess around. But yeah, that was strange.
Yeah, it was very strange because you couldn't recreate it.
I couldn't. The door was fully closed. Made sure, and I guess maybe something did follow us. I don't know.
And the knob has to be turned for the door to open.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just push it open.
Yeah. So, do you think we were followed?
If we were, I really hope it's the dancing man.
Yeah.
I liked him.
Yeah, he was much nicer than your shower guardian.
Yes.
Well, you haven't felt any terrifying things here, have you?
Not at all.
Well,
I used to think that the dancing man was your dad. But I'm not so sure.
yeah, he wasn't really like the dancing type.
Right. I mean, they didn't dance that well. I mean, was he not a good dancer?
No, I mean he would move.
Right.
I don't think it was. I don't think it was
They kind
more
of just
that.
like shaked.
Yeah, that was it.
Like,
Now, my dad was a burly guy. He's not, shake around. My grandpa would do more goofy stuff, but I don't know. Yeah, I have no friggin' clue what the dancing man could have been.
right.
But
It was built like your dad, so that's why I just would assume. But
maybe he was trying to get some attention.
maybe.
Who knows? Or he was trying to be like, hey, look at my son go.
What was that noise?
Yeah, and the cool little dance move that you do.
Yeah.
Was there ever like finger guns involved?
There was never finger guns. I mean, there could have been finger guns, but it wasn't like, hey, I'm a whole person. Yeah, it was a shadow of.
It's just a shadow and a hole doing wacky moves.
Right.
Oh.
Right.
Why did you stay?
Well, I mean, like I said, I had a shadow man myself.
Maybe it was your shadow man.
Could still be there for all I know.
Maybe it was your shadow man.
No, it wasn't built the same. Yeah, my shadow man was kind of built like my dad. Yeah.
So you see dad shadow men.
Maybe. Yeah.
Dado men.
Yeah. Well, my dad in like the 80s.
Yeah, we're digging deep here into what it could actually be. But so, all right, wrapping it all up here. So there, you think there was at least two different entities in the Walnut Hill Street house?
Definitely.
Plus
Grandmom James.
so three. We're dealing with three.
And who knows if anyone else.
Yeah. She definitely wasn't the shower guardian or the...
No, that wasn't... Because Grandmom James was like short, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a tall guy. He was almost like as tall as the whole door frame.
Ugh,
Yeah.
gross.
Yeah.
So that, and then dancing, walking hallway man in the basement. So yeah, we're going to three. We're counting up to three.
Yeah.
All right, well, wrapping this one up, living there for years, growing up there.
I'm glad we talked about this.
No, I'm glad you joined us.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me.
Any closing statements?
Stay spooky.
Yeah. Nice. My closing statement would be that house has definitely got some energy. I mean, like I said, I grew up between there and my mom's house, and it was, both of them have their stuff, and I don't know, maybe it has followed us, not just you. Maybe yours followed you, ours followed us, and it culminated into changing energies, just you moving in, you staying there, getting used to things, other people moving in, other things happening. It could really have stirred some stuff up.
Maybe. Things are changing.
Yeah. And when they do, that usually generates some kind of entity.
Yeah. I guess for better or for worse.
Yeah. Well, all right, guys. This is the J-less episode of Other Dangerous Podcast. Hopefully we have him back next week. If not, we'll carry on. But for Other Dangerous Podcast, I'm Ken James. And for one night only is my wife, Brittany James.
That's me.
And as always, have a spooky evening. Thank you for listening to Other Dangerous Podcasts. Have you had a run-in with the other dangers? You can reach us at otherdangerouspodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to have a short discussion about the other dangers, you can find us on Facebook and on Instagram at Other Dangerous Podcast. We are now streaming on iTunes Podcasts, Amazon, Google, and many other streaming services. We are also available on YouTube. And please, after listening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you the other dangers.